All right, we wanted to look at some of the review questions. So I'm going to go through this relatively quickly. I'm not going to cover everything, but it should be enough to give you guys a push. Couple of reminders. When you're dealing with square roots and negatives and you're doing work with that, make sure you simplify things first. So in this case, pull the i's out. So then you get I squared. The other reminder to say is that you remember we want to break down the numbers into primes before you multiply it out to be 140 so you can see things easier. So we've got the 2's we can pull out as well. And then we have 35 on the inside for the 5 times 7. So that would become negative 2 root 35. If you didn't do that, then you'd have the square root of 140, which then would give you a positive 2 root 35, which obviously isn't the right answer. So please make sure you do that. For this one, similar sort of thing, make sure you pull the 21 out. Now you can go ahead and multiply everything out, but the other thing that you may want to consider doing is that you can probably see that 5 and 35 are both multiples of 5. So effectively what we can do is we can break down the 35 into square root of 7 and square root of 5. And then I can divide out the square root of 5. And then at that point you can also break the 21 down into 3 times 7. And so then you've got 7I root 3. And obviously, I mean, as I said, you can do other ways about that too if you want to multiply it out, see it. You get, what, 49 times 3, so somewhere in the ballpark of, what, 147. It's just oftentimes easier to see what simplifies out that way. In this one, a couple of things. Remember, first of all, this is not equal to 2 plus or minus a negative 20. You need to simplify everything out, and if you're going to do that, you really should break this down into 2 parts. If you're really tempted to divide out the 2 into just the 4. But regardless, you know the negative 20 is going to break down into that. So what should happen is you're going to get 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 is 2, the square root of negative 1 is I, and the root 5 comes along, and that's divided by 2. And again, technically, remember, you're breaking this down like this. Sorry, it shouldn't be plus or minus. Habit from everything else. So you get 2I root 5 over 2. So then, or as long as you divide the 2 into both the 4 and the 2, you'll end up with that. This one, do not distribute the I in first. Make sure you square this out. And it's not going to be 36 plus 25I squared. Remember, it's this. And if you know the shortcut, I'm fine with that, but don't, if you think you know the shortcut, I would do it this way. Because people who think they know the shortcut tend to make the mistake. So you get 36, you're going to get plus 60I in the middle because you're going to get 30I here and 30I here. And then you've got plus 25I squared. This, remember, is now going to become negative 25. So I would simplify this first before distributing out the opposite of I through here. And then you get this. And then this will turn into 60, so you're going to get 60 minus 11I. Okay. This one, remember, you need to rationalize these. You need to multiply through by the conjugates. So I'd multiply this through by 7 plus 2I. Because when I multiply the 7 minus 2I and the 7 plus 2I, those are the factors of difference of perfect squares. So you'll end up with 49 minus 4I squared on the bottom, which will turn into 53. And then you multiply across the top as well. I'm going to trust you can do that, so I'm not going to finish that one. Plus the answers are online. But that's how you end up going through that one. On this one, solving for x. First of all, what you need to do is make sure that you set it up. You can do it by completing the square if you want to. Most of you are more prone to doing it this way. So move everything onto one side. So you have that. So in this case, A is going to be 2. B is going to be y. Now this is going to be something you need to be, and then C is going to be a negative 3y squared minus 9. And so if you plug this into the quadratic equation, you're going to need to go through and obviously plug the right parts. The opposite of b. And again, if you're not sure about it, write it down. I see too many people make silly mistakes on this. And it's well worth the 15 seconds it's going to take you to write down the original equation so you can double check stuff. So you're going to plug stuff in. So y squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is a negative 3y squared minus 9, all over 2 times a, so that's going to be 2 times 2. Now here, it may be worth taking a second and saying, okay, that's going to be a negative 8 times, so that's negative 4 times 2, of writing this out separately. Now, do not be tempted to pull the y squared out by itself, because remember, you're adding in here 24y squared minus 9 over 4. And then simplify this. You've got more than one y squared, so I get the opposite of y plus or minus the square root of 25y squared minus 9 over 4. Now, it's going to be tempting to want to try to pull out the 25 and the 9. But remember, ooh, wait a second. I didn't distribute correctly. Y'all let me know. That's plus 72. Now, you can't pull anything out of there. It's going to be tempting to try to break the 25y squared into 5y squared, but remember, you can't bust out just part of this. You can't say, oh, look, the square root of 25 plus 49 is really equal to 5 plus the square root of 49, or 5 plus 7, because that's 12. 12 squared is 144, which is not what you're getting from 25 and 49. Okay, so be safe. Drawing pictures. Rectangular rug fits in a room. The border is uniform on all 4 sides, so here's your room. The room is 12 feet by 14 feet. You've got a rug here that has an area of 80 feet. And it says uniform. That means it's the same way all around. We don't know what that is, so you've got x, 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 x. So this is going to be 14 minus 2x, because you're taking away, we're looking for this distance right here. Likewise, this is going to be 12 minus 2x. So 12 minus 2x times 14 minus 2x is going to equal 80, and then you go through and you solve that. Draw pictures. Kite is flying 65 feet of string, so there's your string. There's your kite. Its vertical distance from the ground is 10 feet less. So vertical distance from the ground, there's the horizontal distance. So this is vertical, horizontal. Vertical is 10 feet less than twice as horizontal, so it's 10 horizontal minus 10. So you've got this then. Make sure you square this out correctly. Don't forget things that you missed from last year either. Okay? I think that's the last one I've got up here. So, double check your answers, draw pictures, set things up. I will see you tomorrow.